Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is The World Away, and this is the second video now into my Polar Light Star Trek Enterprise refit model. Today we're actually going to be finishing the bridge, and I'm going to do some of the electrics in the beacon. So you know what, a whole heap happens in this video, but it feels like I haven't done anything. You're going to see me do the bridge. The bridge is microscopic, and you can get this through Green Strawberry. That's the company that actually make the bridge, and I think I've put links in the video description for that as well. Please also note that the Arduino code and stuff that you're going to see in this video is also in the video description. I've actually created a Google Drive folder with all pictures of the refit, reference photos from the Rafa card. There's a whole plethora of stuff in there, but that folder has got public access, so you're free to have a look around there, and that's where you'll get your Arduino code as well. And then anything that you see me using is in my Amazon store, and I have put a link just here for my Amazon store. Click on the UK link, even if you're in another country, just to give you an idea of what the product looks like, and then you can do a search in your territory so you can see that for yourself. But without further ado, let's get cracking. So as you can see, this is now all painted up, looking absolutely brilliant there. Put that to one side, and then I've been working on the interior here. Now this is just an off-white colour, and as you can see, I've started to put some of these decals in. I haven't done them on the other ones yet. Now obviously you saw that I had the chairs done. I've still got to put the rails which go around the inside of this section here. So if that's where the control panel is there, I'm just trying to get my bearings here, it's going to be that way, I believe. I'll figure that out in a second. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of the decals in, put the last bits of Photo-Etch here, the seats in, and show you what it looks like. But before I do that, I just want to show you that on one of these edges here, where the main viewing screen is, I've actually put some masking tape on there, and I'm going to be able to take that masking tape off. And then once it's all done, I'm going to be painting the whole of the outside of this black matte, a couple of coats, to do some light blocking, except for this area here, because the only light I want coming into the bridge is going to be through that view screen. It's not going to be a complete white light, because obviously this resin was like a grey material, but it is going to give it a faint glow to hopefully light up everything in the inside. But to explain that, I think the best thing to do is to put on these decals, and let me just show you how small these are. And I'm having to put these on with a couple of cocktail sticks and a cotton bud and some micro set. Now just so you know, this section here is primed and light blocked already, so I'm just going to put that to one side. I'm going to show you the finished bridge. Are you ready for this? It's tiny and it looks just like that. So we've got all light blocking on the outside there. The only thing I still got to take off is just this little bit of masking tape there, and then that's now going to enable light to go through where the screen is there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to demonstrate that. I will try in a second and we'll see. We have this lip which goes over the top, so that's going to go over like that. Then kind of what happens then is that the A deck goes over the top here, like that. And then we do have the ceiling, which looks like this here, just going on like that. So detailed. I haven't painted any of this up because I'm going to be putting the beacon light in there. I've got to put a light at the front here, and I've also got to have another light in there just so it lights up these little holes at the back there. But that is what that's looking like. Now, can I show you the deck? I don't know if I can, but I'm going to try and give you a look around the inside. Now, as you can see, this whole thing, if I get my thumbnail actually, is the size of my thumbnail. So that all that detail that you can see around the back, and the chairs, and the little rails and stuff, all of that is like my thumbnail. But there you go. That's just me being absolutely crazy. So as you can see, that is the bridge done. And now I'm going to start doing the electrics, namely the beacon light for this deck here. Okay, welcome back. It's another new day. So today we're going to start the electrics. So the first thing we're going to be doing is in this deck here, I'm going to be putting the beacon light. So I'm going to be using a little SMD first, and then I'll be programming an Arduino afterwards. Now, all the Arduino code will be in the Google Drive file, which has got the Refit archive in, but it's always going to be updated. So as I add a light and then add an extra bit of code, it will be changing. So if you are following along and you are programming up an Arduino, every time I make a change, you're going to have to download the code to your Arduino to make that change. But I am using these little SMDs. This is a white SMD. It's not a warm white, it's in your face white. This is available on my Amazon store, and it's the UK Amazon store. All the products that you're going to see I've only put on the UK Amazon store because I know it differs greatly from what you folks in the US have, especially when it comes to paint and stuff like that. So this is an absolutely little tiny thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is put this in that deck. So to do that, I need the deck, I need the SMD, which is a really tiny thing, as you can see here. Look at that. I need a UV light, which I've got here. I need some UV resin. I've used some really thick stuff. Again, this is in my Amazon store, but I got this with about 6 or 7 bottles, but I've got the UV resin here as well. And I also need a battery, and I think the first thing to do is check this works. Now, these SMDs come pre-resisted, as you can see here, up to 12 volts. And I am going to be running my system on 12 volts, but I may be using a buck converter to lower that voltage as it goes into the Arduino. It depends how it acts. Arduinos can accept up to 12 volts, but they do start to play up after 9 volts, so we'll have to see what happens. But what I'm going to do is just check this actually works. So I don't know if you can see. Let's do it that side, that the light is coming on, no problems at all. Okay, what I've got here is some UV tape, so I'm just going to take a little bit of this off. As you can see, just a tiny square. I'm going to put that over the hole that I've got in the back there. Just like that. Okay, when you actually work with this, there is absolutely no rush in putting this in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting some UV resin into that hole. I'm going to try and do this in one go. I've made sure that the top of this SMD, as you can see, is bent at 90 degrees. And I'm going to be putting this into this section, just like that, into the resin. Use my UV torch here to make that hard and lock that into place. So here we go. Let's put this in here. Just a big blob there. Get my torch ready. Line this up exactly where I want it. And blast it with the UV. I normally give it around about 6 seconds and just make sure we take it from each side. That is absolutely perfect. So, I have now got the SMD into position just on this section here. Now I can take off this bit of tape that I put on now. Just like that. Once again, because I'm paranoid, I just want to check that that light is still working. So, put that on there. As you can see, that lights up perfectly there. Now this is the fun bit. This is, I don't know if people have thought about doing. I'm using one of these bottles, by the way. The reason I use these bottles is because it stops air bubbles getting into the resin mix. So when I actually put this on, there'll be no bubbles. But I'm going to put, this is quite thick, a little blob just on the top there to make a lens for that beacon. Just like that. Tiniest amount it is. Again, I use my UV torch to put that lens into place. And what that's going to do is going to conduct that light through. So, I'm going to light this up again. Turn the lights down here. Just a touch. So you can see how this looks now with the lens and the SMD in place. So, just touch this on here. That looks really good. Look, check that out. If I have it completely on, hopefully you can see that. Now obviously we want this flashing effect of a beacon, so I'm just going to turn out another light here. This is the sort of effect that I'm trying to get. It's going to go like that. Now I will change the interval. You will find in the Wrath of Khan, when it's leaving the dock, that beacon's going like this. But in every other time that you see it in the film, it's like this. So we need to program an Arduino to make it do that. So I'm just going to put that to one side, and I've got an Arduino here. This isn't an Arduino Nano. This is just a full-size Arduino that I'm doing all the tests on, and then I'll transpose, is that a word? I will take the code and put it onto a Nano eventually. A Nano is a hell of a lot smaller than this. In fact, this is what a Nano looks like. Compare that to the size here. Let's just open this. There we go. That will give you an idea of what we're actually going to be putting inside this model. Don't worry too much about the programming. I'm going to handle the programming, but I will show you how you transfer the code onto this board. Now I am aware this bit's going to seem a little bit daunting. Now in the video description you're going to see a link to the Arduino software, and you can download that either on a Mac or a PC. Once that's on the computer, all you're going to do is plug it in with the USB here into your Uno. Now when you're using an Arduino Nano, it's a USB mini cable. It's not one of these ones with a square end. But you just plug it in just like that and it powers on. Now I'm just going to show you what the Arduino program looks like when you launch it. And as you can see, that looks just like this. Now I've already put the code in that you'll also find in the video description to make that beacon blink, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But the thing you need to make sure of is that we need to make sure we connect this to that program. And to do that, all we do is we go on Tools here and make sure the board is set to Arduino Uno. And then in the port, select whatever port comes up with Arduino Uno there. That is now connected to the computer. So this is the code here. Let me just tell you what's happening. This is where I'm telling it that the beacon light's going to be plugged into pin 12. Then I'm using a delay function. The reason I'm using a delay function rather than any other function is because this board is only going to control 2 flashing lights. And I'll explain that when we put the next set of lights on, which are the navigation lights. But basically, I'm telling it to light the LED, keep it on for 1/100th of a second, turn it off, and then wait for 14/100ths of a second. Actually, that's more. There's a slight delay on there. Once I click this button here, it's going to download it to the board. So now the code is in this board. Now we want to check that that code works with this beacon. So to do that, I'm just going to connect the ground side here, or the black lead, just to one side of a connector, like this. So that's held in there. I'm going to connect to the other side to one of these Arduino cables. Again, these are in my Amazon store. And then I'm going to put this into the ground ports of the Arduino. Now on an Arduino Uno, there's 3 ground ports. You've got one here and you've got 2 on this side. So anything that says ground, you can plug this in. So I'm going to plug this into that one there, I think. And then with this side, we're going to be putting this into pin 12. I've programmed this at pin 12. So when I put this in, we should see the beacon light flashing. This is what it looks like when it's on. I like how that is. I don't think I need to muck around with the changes now. That's going to be the beacon beep for this and the beacon lights on the end of the nacelles. So that's how we put the beacon light on. And let me just show you close up here what that looks like with that little bit of resin on top. It's very happy with that. Now there's a couple of other lights that are going to be going in this section. We've got the front one here, which is going to be on the registration plate, and a light at the back there, which is going to light up these 2 ports here as well. We're not going to do that yet because we're now going to be working on the saucer section because I need to know exactly how I'm positioning this, and to do that I need to get to the saucer section, and there's a lot to do on that. So this is the saucer section here, looking absolutely brilliant and very shiny, but we don't want that. We want that to be quite dull. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this in the bath and I'm going to give it a good old scrub with some detergent and get any silicone release gel or whatever other impurities might be on this first, and get that fully clean. So I've gave that an absolute good clean up, and we're now ready to start working on the saucer section, which we're going to do in the next video. So I really do hope you're enjoying this series, and I really do hope you like that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.